Welcome to the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. This afternoon, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Detroit Lions. A look to the NFC Central Division as we come down near the end of the regular season. The Green Bay Packers won yesterday in New Orleans over the Saints, and so the Detroit Lions need a win to stay in the chase for the division title and, of course, to continue the run towards the playoffs. And that man leads the way with close to 1,400 yards rushing, Barry Sanders. On the Jacksonville Jaguars side, Steve Berline will get the start at quarterback today for the injured Mark Brunell, who has re-injured a hamstring that he tore a couple of weeks ago. Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to have you with us. I'm Jim Donovan, along with Tunch Ilkin. Let's talk about the Jaguars first. They've lost 6 games in a row, and its wins have been a little flat.
Well, you know what? This looks like a tired football team to me, Jim. These guys have been at it since mid-March, and Tom Coughlin believes in a hard 2.5-hour full-speed practice. These guys look physically tired from all the work, and they look emotionally tired from all the tough losses.
On the Detroit side, they're playing very well. They've won 5 games in a row, and if you compare the way the two teams and the two coaches get their teams ready, it's completely different for Wayne Fontes.
Well, Wayne is totally different. He doesn't even like to bang his guys during the year. They take their shoulder pads off about midway through the season, and he says, you know, we've got 3 basic rules here in Detroit. You don't run into Perriman, you don't bump more, and you never, ever touch Barry Sanders in practice.
Barry Sanders, the untouchable man. It's tough for defenses to touch him, too, because he continues to be a tremendous running back, one of the best in the NFL. Kicking off, it will be the Lions. Hansen will kick the ball away as Jason has it up on the tee. Back deep for the Jaguars here this afternoon. Jimmy Smith is number 82, and Lashane Maston, a fullback for the Jaguars, is number 35. Jacksonville with only 3 wins on the season. They haven't won since October. And as we kick it off, we're going to re-kick it again.
Delay of game on a kicking team exceeded the 42nd time.
Well, on the opening kickoff, a delay of game.
I have never seen that ever in all the years of watching the NFL, that the delay of game, that's not a good start, Wayne Fontes. Delay a game, you're late for the kickoff.
Unbelievable, especially the opening kickoff. I know they give them, I think it's 20 seconds before the time you set the ball on the tee and you kick it off, and I guess he just took a little too much time. Wayne's not too happy about it. He's going, what? I've never heard this before. He's saying the same thing. Give me a break.
Well, Jason Hansen will have to hurry up, get it up on the tee, and then we'll try it all over again. The Jaguars ready to receive this kick. The opening kickoff spelled doom for them last week as they gave up a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown as Aaron Bailey took it all the way back for them, the Indianapolis Colts, and put them behind in the game, and they never recovered after that.
Well, you know, they've had trouble with the coverage team. As we see the 14 seconds, 13 left to kick off. Let's see if Hansen gets it off on time.
Yeah, I bet he gets it off this time, Tunch. Hansen kicks it away, and Jimmy Smith will take it at his own 5-yard line. And runs it over the 30, out to the 33. Corey Schlesinger is down on the tackle, and Steve Berline gets the start. He started the season, lost the job to injury, and then was replaced by Mark Brunell, and now he's back in there replacing Brunell, who's out injured. 2 rookie tackles who have really grown to be pretty good players, Tony Baselli and Brian DeMarco, who played his college football at Michigan State. In the backfield, along with Berline here this afternoon, it will be Vaughn Dunbar in for the injured rookie running back James Stewart, who's out with a sprained foot. And then on third down situations, when they bring in their extra wide receiver, it will be the former Heisman Trophy Award winner out of Michigan, Desmond Howard. First down, play action, and right away, Henry Thomas is in and sacks Berline back near the 22. So that's a nice segue into the defensive front for the Detroit Lions. It's a 4-3 defense, and it's been a good decision as Thomas picks up his 9.5 sack this season. Luther Ellis is their top draft choice at that defensive end spot. The linebackers and secondary, and then when they go to their nickel package and bring in an extra defensive back, Robert Massey will come in and join the group. It is second down and 20.
Well, you don't want to start out with a sack on your very first play from scrimmage, and Henry Thomas is a guy that they felt they have to game plan for.
Berline fires, and Pete Mitchell could not hang on, and then it was almost intercepted, as ready to pull the ball down and pick it off was the cornerback Ryan McNeil.
You know, pressure again by Henry Thomas. He's the guy that Jacksonville feels they have to contain as he's working on Ben Coleman. Nice job by Bernline stepping up in the pocket. You know, Bernline was telling his guys, offensive lineman, I am not Mark Brunell. I'm going to be back there. And people say, well, he can't scramble. But you know what? He does a nice job moving around in the pocket and avoiding a sack by Henry Thomas right there.
All right, Bernline's got a big play now, 3rd down and 20, back at his own 23. He's in the shotgun for the first time this afternoon. There's a flag thrown down right in the offensive line pit as they tried to form the pocket. The pass was incomplete, intended for Lachey Maston. And our referee, Howard Rowe, signifies it's going against Jacksonville. They're going to decline it.
Holding. Number 66 offense. Penalties declined. Brings up 4th down.
And so the penalty against Sean Bowens, the former Detroit Lion, will be declined. And the Lions should get good field position.
Well, you do not want to start out the game with a horrible series like Jacksonville. One of the things they said, they felt they had to start out quick, especially to quiet this crowd down.
Brian Barker, 6th in the NFL, but the best in the NFL for net yardage punting at 38.9 yards. Brett Perriman is back deep for the Lions, and at his own 25, has the sideline, and then got knocked down as Ryan Christopherson made the tackle as the ball is out over the 35 to the 37. So here comes the high-powered, and I mean high-powered offense led by Scott Mitchell, the quarterback. 2 All-Pros on that offensive line, Lomas Brown and the center Kevin Glover. Doug Weidel is injured as he's a late scratch for today's game, and Compton goes in at that offensive line spot. Sanders, Perriman, Moore, Morton, and Holman, who breaks the record held by Jackie Smith for most starts by games played by a tight end. And it just becomes the Great Lakes offense on 3rd down passing situations. They're so good they don't make any changes. 1st down, Mitchell up top, wide open. Herman Moore, too much room there, Tunch, and he's out to the 45-yard line and pushed out of bounds. Now to the Jacksonville side of the field, and on their defensive side, which will really be tested today, former Lion Kelvin Pritchett is at the left defensive tackle spot. The linebackers and secondary for the Jaguars who will be busy. A couple of rookies, Brian Schwartz and Travis Davis at the safety spot. And then in the nickel package, Jacksonville will come in with Dave Thomas. Nice ceremony down on the field that just happened. They presented Rodney Holman with the game ball as he breaks the record by Jackie Smith. And there he is being congratulated. 211 games, the new record. Jackie Smith, the great Cardinal, and finished up as a Cowboy.
Well, you got to be happy for a guy like Rodney Holman. What a unassuming, humble guy. He's had a great career, most of his productive years with the Cincinnati Bengals, 3 Pro Bowls. Great guy.
8 yards on 1st down. Sanders gets his first run. And the Jaguars do a very, very nice job. And Tunch, last week they did an exceptional job against a Sanders type back in Marshall Falk, and they held him below 60 yards rushing on the day, and so they have their work cut out for him, but did a nice job on Sanders' first carry.
Well, you know what Dick Duran, the defensive coordinator for the Jaguars, told us yesterday. And all year long, he's done a great job of game planning for star offensive players on opponents. And we asked him yesterday, well, who are you going to stop this week with Perriman and Moore and Sanders? He said, we still have to stop Sanders first.
Can you stop him as you look at those numbers? It's 3rd down. Looks like the Jaguars might have jumped off. Herman Moore catches the ball, his 2nd catch of the day. He's got a 1st down at the 48. Let's check out the call.
Well, it looked like Scotty Mitchell hard counted him because the interior of that Jacksonville defense was jumpy. I know Kelvin Pritchard, number 94, is really psyched for this game coming back to Detroit.
Offsides. Number 91 defense. Penalties declined. Result of the play is a 1st down.
Paul Fraze is tagged for the penalty. Well, these are the guys you have to talk. If you can stop Sanders, but can you stop this tandem? Herman Moore and Brett Perriman, because their numbers are absolutely amazing. They're on pace to be a great, great set of receivers.
Absolutely.
Those numbers, exceptional numbers on the season, with Mitchell getting them the ball. 1st down, they declined the penalty and took the play. And Mitchell fires, and it's caught by Johnny Morton, the 2nd-year wide receiver out of USC, and he's down to the 35-yard line. A little bit of a story with Morton. He kind of aired out some some frustration, I guess you'd say, about not getting the ball an awful lot with Moore and Perryman yesterday in a newspaper article.
Well, good protection there, and Morton's running a crossing route, and it's almost prophetic. He said he wanted the ball more, and here in the first drive of the game, they're getting the ball to get the ball to him. So, you know, there's only one ball, all right? And you've got Barry Sanders, and you got Perriman, and you got Herman Moore. I mean, who do you give the ball to? And a lot of times, the offensive coordinator, Tom Moore for Detroit. Well, it seems like a discussion on the field, but Tom Moore told us that he's going to take what the defense gives him.
I think, you know what they might be checking? Are they checking maybe his headset? I think that's what it is. His headset, Tom Moore's headset, might not be working, and they want to check that out, because if they're all not working, don't they have to go over to the other sideline and say, hey, Jacksonville, take your headphones off? So actually, Tunch, I believe I think Tom Moore was actually hearing you rather than his coaches upstairs.
which could be really tough, because I'm going to say, run the ball, Tom, run. And Tom was the offensive coordinator for many years, 13 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers when I was there. And he's brought a little bit of that Steeler offense to Detroit here. You know, people will say, oh, it's the West Coast offense. Hey, don't tell that to him, because he hates that whole Walsh West Coast offense thing. He said this is the Detroit Lion offense, run by Detroit Lion players, coached by Detroit Lion coaches. But there is some Pittsburgh Steelers stuff. You'll see the traps and stuff.
After the Morton catch, it's a first down at the 34-yard line. And that's Johnny Morton in motion. Barry Sanders, second carry. Inside the 30, down near the 29-yard line. Chased down by Brian Schwartz on the play, and Dave Thomas comes up from the secondary to help out. Schwartz, a rookie linebacker out of Augustana.
Well, he's their run stopper. You know, he's a big, strong kid. As we watch number 58 in your screen, does a nice job of playing off Kevin Glover's block. One of the tough things for inside linebackers, getting through traffic and making the play, and he does a nice job, although it was a nice pickup.
He said that he watched Sanders and he watched him play throughout the years, and now can't believe that he's out there trying to tackle him today as he makes the stop on him there. Second down and 3. Mitchell pumps it, and then just kind of lays one right in there for a complete pass to Brett Perryman, and he's down to the 19-yard line. That's a first down for the Lions. Mickey Washington covers. You know,
it's funny, talking to Brian Schwartz yesterday, and he's in on that play, he was saying, you know, you could almost see a little intimidation in his eyes. He says, you know, I was watching the films on Sanders, and he makes a lot of great defensive players in this league look really bad. And he said one of the biggest fears is you're going to be out there trying to tackle him, and all you get is air. But he said, you know, the key is if you miss, don't stay down, just get up, because you'll probably get another shot at him because the way he reverses field.
So another game ball goes. This is the second one to Rodney Holman, and now Moore and Perryman off that catch have broken the record for combined single-season receptions, 208, and they have all of today and then next week too. We're going to run out of game balls here this afternoon. First down, the ball is at the 19 of Jacksonville. And the Lions making it look easy in the passing game. Mitchell throws, and intended, I believe, for Johnny Morton at the 2-yard line, but Mickey Washington had shielded him off away from the football.
Well, it looked like they had a little miscommunication on that pattern, as Scotty looks to Tom Moore on the sideline for...
You know, Tunch, Morton was not trying to drum up trouble at all. As a matter of fact, he realizes that, you know, Moore and Perryman are the guys. But he said, you know, it's frustrating because Moore and Perryman are going to be here for a long, long time, and I'm wondering when I will fit in and get a lot of footballs thrown my way. Second down and 10. Sanders, and Gogenius runs up and slows the play down at the 20, and then they pick up the play and they arrested a linebacker. Schwartz leading the charge to tackle him.
Well, the guy that really makes that play is number 99, Joel Schmengi, as he just knifes through the inside of the tight end's block and makes, you know, that play is just a counter trap, and it's designed to go inside as Barry takes the handoff here, and he's following Sloan right into Gogenius and Schwartz. Nice job by Joel Schmengi getting penetration and forcing that play outside.
And it's third down and 11. Mitchell got away from Schmengi, throws into the end zone, and it's intercepted, picked off by Mickey Washington. as Mitchell threw into very heavy traffic in the end zone, and Washington intercepts for the Jaguars. It will be Jacksonville ball when we come back. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Tom Coughlin is not a happy man. I mean, he was thrilled when we left you for commercial because it appeared that Mickey Washington had picked off a pass in the end zone for an interception, which would have been his second of the year. Then after a long discussion, the officials change their call and they ruled that it was an incomplete pass in the end zone, that Washington didn't have control of the ball, so the ball goes back over now to the Lions and they'll attempt a field goal on 4th down. So let's see if Washington did have control.
Well, as you see here, Mitchell has to step up in the pocket. Good pressure by Jacksonville, and he's on the run, really throwing into double coverage here. Bad throw, and Washington, yeah, it looked like it's hard to tell from that angle, but he's resting on the ball. He says he had it though, Jimmy. I think if you went by him.
That's tough for Jacksonville. Coughlin told us yesterday we have to start making some big plays on defense. We need turnovers. We either have to do something on special teams or we got to come up with the ball on defense. We cannot allow and count on our offense to have to make long drives and big plays against this team. And here he thought he had one, and now it's wiped out. He's probably going to give up 3 points here. So Hansen will attempt the field goal. One more time, we'll take a look from up top here at the Silverdome.
Watch the official in the back here, and he comes in, and it looks like he might have the best angle. Good catch. And the other officials sitting there waving off, and then that's when they had their discussion. And I feel bad for Mickey Washington because interceptions have been hard to come by for him. That would have been his second of the season.
The spot will come at the 28-yard line. It's a 38-yard field goal attempt for Jason Hansen. In a very roundabout way, he's kicking this field goal. And the kick is up and good, and the Lions are on the board and lead by a score of 3-0. Jason Hansen gives Detroit the early lead. Jacksonville will get the kickoff when we come back. Back at the Silverdome with 9:28 to go here in the first quarter. Jason Hansen, a 38-yard field goal after an interception by Jacksonville is nullified as they ruled that Mickey Washington didn't have control of the football in the end zone. Hansen comes back and kicks the field goal. 3-0 Lions. Jimmy Smith from the goal line for the Jaguars is brought down. Rivers is down on the tackle for the Lions, and it's 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Big day now for the Lions here in the last couple of weeks of the regular season. Here's the magic equation for Wayne Fonts and the Lions to gain a playoff spot. A win over Jacksonville today, and then they would need a loss by Minnesota to San Francisco later this afternoon, and a loss by the Rams to the Redskins. Now, add to this, Tunch, if the Lions were to lose here today, Green Bay would become the NFC Central Division champion after they won yesterday over New Orleans.
Well, as you talk to the guys on the Lions, they say our destiny is in our own hands. We just have to win.
Here's Vaughn Dunbar being chased. He got away from a Scroggins tackle and has a great run out to the 40-yard line. So there's a play that could have been a loss in the backfield, but Scroggins couldn't wrap it up. A 16-yard run, a 1st down.
Well, great penetration on that play, Jimmy, actually it was Porsche number 91 coming off left guard. Great penetration here, as you see, just goes behind the guard to tackle DeMarco. Great job of avoiding the tackle, and really Dunbar gets a nice gain out of nothing.
First down of the afternoon for Jacksonville. Robert Massey and Antonio London now check in to the defensive lineup for the Lions. Burline. And this time, Dunbar will be dropped back at the 35-yard line.
As you watch the replay, you'll see number 54, Chris Spielman, just running through on a blitz in between the guard and tackle, and right there to make the tackle on Lachey Maston. You know, this is a real attacking defense, Jim, and John Tierling came in. He's now the defensive line coach. He came over from Minnesota, and he's got these guys led by Spielman here, who has just been an All-Pro 4 times already, just having another great year.
2nd down, 15. 2 tight ends in the game now. That's Pete Mitchell, one of the tight ends, going into the slot as a receiver. Burline, plenty of time, fires to the middle, but the ball is behind Mitchell and incomplete at the 50-yard line as Blades comes up and puts him down.
Great protection by Jacksonville. You know, talking to John Cherling, the defensive line coach, they really like the matchups that they have on their defensive line. As we see Beuerlein, 5-step drop, plenty of time. Look at that nice pocket there. Has an opportunity for a second and third read. Puts the ball a little bit behind Pete Mitchell. And of course, Benny Blades just sticks him to make him miss.
Well, that loss on that running play has now put them in a hole of 3rd down and 15, and then the incompletion to Mitchell. The Lions coming on a blitz from the outside, and coming in to get him is Alan Williams back at the 21-yard line. Excuse me, Corey Raymond comes in and gets him back at the 21-yard line on the sack.
As you watch number 31, Corey Raymond, he'll be coming off the left side here. He's on the slot, guy, a lot of speed. He's unaccounted for. Nobody's blocking him. Wydell trying to come out late. He's got to check that, and Beuerlein doesn't have a chance.
Back deep on the punt now will be Willie Clay as Raymond comes up with the sack. The hit by Barker, and he punts it, and it will go out of bounds. Not a good punt by Barker. They'll put him out at the 42-yard line. And so it's 3-0, the Lions in the lead. This is the NFL on NBC. Detroit on the possession now after an only 35-yard punt by Brian Barker. And the Lions have very good field position for Scott Mitchell at their own 42-yard line. They lead 3-0 on a 38-yard field goal by Jason Hanson. They have a screen set up for Barry Sanders. And he's out near midfield. Kind of a late screen, wasn't it? But all of a sudden they broke in there. Pritchard was coming in there, and Sanders was out there in the flat.
Well, they set it up nicely as you watch in this replay, Jim. What they're doing is they're faking the counter trap to Barry Sanders. As you see, their guard and tackler pulling, then they're stopping. It's a long and late developing screen off of a play fake, off a play run. Great job of Compton and Lomas Brown out in front, and nice pickup.
And Barry Sanders. Numbers just continue to be amazing as he was voted to his 7th consecutive All-Pro team for the NFC on Thursday. Mitchell getting out of the pocket, then dumps it. It's caught, and it is Perriman, and he brings it down to the 41-yard line. Keith Gogenius tackles for Jacksonville, and it's a 1st down for the Lions. Tonight, after Lost Civilization, sit back for a special all-new holiday episode of Mad About You with special guest Dick Clark in a New Year's surprise. And that's followed by an outrageous Christmas reunion on an all-new Hope and Gloria. It's all-new must-see TV comedy tonight, right here on NBC.
Well, I hope I get home in time.
I think you will be. Pittsburgh's a short hop. 1st down, Sanders, big hole. Inside the 25 to the 24-yard line downfield, the rookie Travis Davis of Notre Dame knocks down Sanders, but the hole right there started over the All-Pro center Kevin Glover.
Well, great push by Glover and Compton, number 77 on the left side, as just a trap, that old trap that they ran in Pittsburgh. And nice job by Barry Sanders taking it all the way backside. There was no hole on the onside where the play was designed to go. Great back block by Kevin Glover.
18-yard run by Sanders. 1st down for the Lions. Mitchell pump fakes, wide open. Johnny Morton, touchdown.
Great job by Scott Mitchell moving around in that pocket. Good protection, nice little pocket there, pump fakes, pumps to the right, and that's something he hasn't been doing. Really, they've cut the field down in half for him, where he just does the reads to one side of the field. Got Morton open late, touchdown.
He wants the ball, he's been getting it today, and it will keep coming back his way if he continues to get open like that. Hanson's kick is good. And with 5:24 to go here in the 1st quarter, Johnny Morton's touchdown catch, and the Lions lead 10-0 in the Silverdome. Scott Mitchell talking it over with those talented wide receivers of the Lions. Mitchell 7 for 9, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. As he hit Johnny Morton on that strike.
Boy, he's hot.
Hansen kicks it away. 10-0 Lions lead. Jimmy Smith at about his 2. He's got great speed. And it looked as though there was a little opening, and he's out to the 30-yard line. Let's go back to the Mitchell touchdown pass.
You see Johnny Morton lined up in the slot there. One-on-one. Harry Cole, number 24, is the safety in the middle. When Scott Mitchell pump fakes to the right, it freezes him. He can't get over there and help on Morton, and it's a touchdown. So really that play was made by the pump fake of Scotty Mitchell. Total yards, 101 for Detroit, -10 for Jacksonville. Not the way Tom Coughlin would like to start the ballgame on.
From his own 30, Steve Berline will give it to Vaughn Dunbar. And Dunbar is grabbed from behind. Tackle made by the right defensive end, Tracy Scroggins, who went down the line and brought down Dunbar after a short gain.
Well, Jacksonville running a counter trap on that play. Scroggins just does a real nice job of getting upfield first on the pass, because remember, these guys play the run on the way to the quarterback. And once he sees it's a run, just close down, pile things up to the inside.
Learning more and more each week about how to play in that 4-3 defense. And the Lions getting their defense playing their best football this season at a good time. All kinds of blitz being shown by the Lions, but it looked as though someone flinched on the offensive line for Jacksonville. So in other words, there was just everybody was moving.
Well, it looked like they were trying to hard count him, and I'm not really sure. Let's hear what the officials
Prior
said.
to the snap, we got number 66, false start. 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Sean Bounds, the left guard. You know, in speaking yesterday to the offensive coordinator, Gilbride from Jacksonville, they were going to hard count Detroit. But he said, you know, we're not sure we can do it, because whenever we do the hard count, try to draw them off sides, one of our offensive linemen in practice have been jumping off. So that's bad news, because if you can't keep this defensive line off balance with a count, they're going to just tee it up and come after you.
So it's 2nd and 14, and Berline throws, and Desmond Howard reaches in and pulls the ball in for a reception out to the 37-yard line. Coverage by Robert Massey. Howard made a nice play.
Well, they've got to get the ball to Desmond Howard more. They need somebody to stand up today or step up and make some plays. Massey playing off a little bit. Ball's right on target. Still Massey respecting his speed.
3rd down and 2. Howard sustained a concussion last week early in the game against Indianapolis on an attempted catch that he got belted on the sideline by one of the Colts defensive backs. Shotgun on 3rd and short. And it's caught by Jimmy Smith, the first down to the Jacksonville 47-yard line. Corey Raymond and Robert Massey.
Well, real nice job by Jacksonville picking up the blitz. That enabled Smith to get open as we watch him working one-on-one against Massey. Quick in move, and Massey bites on the out fake. Ball is right on by Berline.
Now Jimmy Smith comes off. He had a big game last week. He's had a big couple of weeks. He had the 3 touchdowns in one game against Denver, and he had 6 catches last week against Indianapolis. Berline throws to the middle, and this one is caught. Cedric Tillman, or check it, Curtis Marsh in on the catch. Corey Raymond makes the stop for the Lions down at the 30-yard line.
Berline showing great pocket awareness here. Has good protection by the offensive line, steps up, coming open late by Marsh, puts the ball right in the seam of the zone there, and Corey Raymond just getting him down.
And Berline has the Jaguars marching down to the Detroit 30-yard line. First down. 10-0 Lions in the lead. Little delay, and they give it to Lachey Maston. Maston inside the 20, down near the 17-yard line, and he'll rip off a good run and another first down. Willie Clay makes the stop.
A nice draw, just a quick draw set up by Jacksonville there. You know, against a real good defensive, aggressive defensive line, you want to run a lot of quick draws and screen. Just a quick delay to LaShawn. Nice job by Bound there, picking up Spielman, which really springs Lachey Maston.
First down again for Jacksonville. Now inside the 20-yard line. Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator of the Jaguars. They go right back to Maston. In trouble, pushes, and actually might have gotten a yard near the 16-yard line. The play didn't look like it was going to work at all. Luther Ellis, the rookie out of Utah, is in there with Tracy Hayworth.
But you know, it looked like Maston took it one hole too wide. It was a tackle trap, and Gilbride told us last night when we talked to him is, hey, we're going to run a lot of tackle traps. We're going to run some quick screens, and we're going to run some draws. We want to slow these guys down.
Second down. 9 yards to go for first down. Berline shotgun with Maston on his right. 3 wide receivers in the game. They go back to Maston with a crease inside the 10 down near a first down, as he'll be brought down near the 9-yard line. He actually has to get to the 8 to get the first down. Benny Blades is up to tackle Maston along with the linebacker Mike Johnson.
Another draw by the Jaguars, and this is great. These guys, they've got Detroit thinking now. Just a quick draw, nice blocking up front as we see Sean Bounds just sealing off number 98, Henry Thomas, which really springs Maston on that one.
So they have to get actually a little bit inside the 8, and they're at the 9-yard line. Third down and a little more than 1. Inside the 20, Jacksonville's been very good. Much of that has been with Mark Brunell. Right. Now Berline in today for the injured Brunell, and timeout is called for here. And we'll come back with a big third down play coming up for Jacksonville, down 10-0. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
Well, he really stretches defenses. I mean, you just can't come after him like you can a Berline or most 99% of the quarterbacks in the NFL. He's a guy that you have to account for. Now, Berline also throwing very well, doing a nice job leading this drive.
Third down and a little bit more than 1. Lachey Maston, who's been running well, is in the backfield, but Berline will throw for it, and it was intended for Desmond Howard, who went towards the post, and the ball went towards the sideline. And it's incomplete. Now, what happened there?
Well, it looked like they're obviously not on the same page, and Coughlin's not real happy about it.
But this is after a timeout.
Right. Howard's running a corner route, and Berline's throwing an out. As we watch number 81, Desmond Howard, split out to your left here, and he's just running what's called a flag route or a corner route, where he's going into the corner. And Berline must have read the coverage as an out pattern, and that's what he was throwing to. So I don't know if they misread the defense or it was just a blown assignment by the receiver.
27-yard field goal by Mike Hollis is no good. A 27-yard field goal attempt by Mike Hollis, and he pushes it wide, and Jacksonville comes away with nothing after a good drive down the field.
Well, that breaks your heart, Jim. I mean, you've got to come away. First of all, it's a disappointment to have to settle for 3. But when you don't even have the 3, after putting in all that time, all that effort to get down there, that is so demoralizing. As Coughlin, he's been shaking his head a lot this season. Losing a lot of close ball games as he looks at his field goal kicker come off the field. You've got to make those 25-yarders.
All right, here come the Lions on first down, and they'll run the ball as Sanders runs to the right and gets a couple of yards.
Well, here's the replay. Desmond Howard split out to your left, and he's given a nice cushion, so that's probably why Berline is going right to the out, and that's where the ball should be, right there. Such a cushion given to him by Massey that a lot of times the receivers and the quarterback have to read the coverage together.
Quarter number 1 is done. We'll be back with the second quarter. Detroit needing a win and jumps out to a quick 10-0 lead. This is the NFL on NBC.
When you look at these guys, is this the way to watch football or what? A little training table here at the Silverdome. Now, these guys are contest winners. They are couch potatoes, and they're in the end zone. They've got these great recliners. Man, I would love, look at that food they're eating. I wish I was sitting there. Look at that.
Well, now, and that's the thing, Tunch. We are not sitting.
Yeah.
We are actually standing up here in the booth. They have our recliners down there.
I always say I'd rather watch football at home than come to the games, but if they're giving us out seats like that, I'd rather sit there.
Second quarter now starting. David Sloan, the tight end, in motion for the Lions. Second down and 8. The fake to Barry Sanders, and Mitchell gets away from Schwartz, who is coming, and gets it to Herman Moore for a first down to the 42-yard line. Travis Davis brings him down, but what a job by Mitchell to get away from the rush.
Well, he doesn't look pretty. He's not a guy that's real fluid, not like a Brunell. As he fakes the handoff, it's a boot left, just fake the handoff to Barry Sanders. Does a great job of ducking inside of the rush by Schwartz and gets the ball to Moore on a run.
20 yards on the play. First down, Lions at the 42-yard line. Too much time. Wide open, Johnny Morton. And he's near the 31-yard line and a first down. Let's go off to New York right now and check in with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim, on an emotional day in Cleveland, the Browns draw first blood, first play, second quarter. Vinny Testaverde 1 yard to Frank Hartley with the extra point. Cleveland, at what may be its last home game in Cleveland Stadium, leads Cincinnati 7-0, Jim.
All right, thanks, Greg. I know Vinny Testaverde wanted to play in that game. He's been injured all week, but because it was the final home game, it appears that way in Cleveland, he wanted to get the start and try and get a win, and he's off to a good start. So are the Lions, leading 10-0. Barry Sanders outside, gets out of a tackle to the 5, and goes out of bounds. They're going to mark him out actually near the 8-yard line, but what a couple of different gears he put it in on that run.
He could dodge raindrops and stay dry. Just a quick trap to the right, and Barry just makes that move and busts to the outside. I mean, he makes people look silly out there.
Great block by Herman Moore downfield. And top 5 rushers. Look at this. Sanders right behind Jim Brown on the average on each carry. Ron Rivers comes in for Sanders, who will get a blow right now. First and goal inside the 10-yard line. Mitchell's got the field in front of him, and then a late flag comes in as he was grabbed down from behind. Kelvin Pritchard got a hold of his jersey and brought him down, but it looked as though he was going to go all the way up the middle and in. Penalty, and they're motioning against Jacksonville, and the afternoon gets longer.
Well, I mean, you can't afford to make this many mistakes against a high performance offense like
Holding.
this.
Number 54 on the defense. Penalized half the distance for the goal. First down.
Keith Gogenius is flagged for the holding call, and that's an automatic first down.
Scoffin looks on. He's not happy with the mistakes that his ball club is making today.
Well, they score when they get inside the 20, as we saw what they do inside the red zone, but they give up a lot too. And just consider the afternoon. It looks as though they pick off a pass that wipes out a Detroit charge, and then that gets turned around. Then they miss a field goal, and they have just had a tough start here and are down 10-0 with Detroit ready to go in again. First and goal, Sanders hits left and dives and scores a touchdown.
Well, who are they going to give this touchdown to? Because it looked like Sanders fumbled on the goal line and Glover picked it up. Just a quick hitter to the left, and Sanders just keeps those feet churning, and his offensive linemen are trying to block as he's reaching over the line over the touchdown line with the ball.
Right there, he's in.
And he's in, and the ball stripped out, and there comes Glover, and that's an offensive lineman's dream, to pick up a fumble and score a touchdown, because offensive linemen never score touchdowns. I'd give it to Glover. I'd give it to Glover.
Well, Sanders has had enough. Maybe he will. And I guess he's that kind of guy with his offensive lineman. The kick by Hansen is good. And the Lions are cruising here early in the second quarter as they lead Jacksonville 17-0.
Center Kevin Glover, number 53, who picked up that loose ball in the end zone. Now, I don't know if they gave the touchdown to him, but watch everybody's coming around, patting him on the back, because they know how great it'd be for an offensive lineman to score a touchdown. And he is fired up, man. He is just one happy guy.
It's been a big week for him. He found out he was the starting center for the NFC, the All-Pro team, first time for him. On the kick, Willie Jackson at his own 3-yard line. And he is knocked out of bounds out over the 20 at the 23. Incidentally, Jimmy Smith, who would normally be returning kicks for Jacksonville, is out. He has a sprained knee. Kevin Glover got the word at practice the other day. Wayne Fonts read it out to the team, that the All-Pro selections. And Glover was part of that group. And for the first time, he gets the start at center, and then he went home, Tunch, told his wife, But he didn't tell her for a while. He actually sat down with her, and they were playing with their child, and then all of a sudden he said, guess what? I made it to the Pro Bowl team. And she was screaming and very, very happy about it as they're on their way to Hawaii. Berline finds a man open, and it's Willie Jackson, and he's out by a first down. Now there's a little pushing and shoving away from the play as Berline got drilled after he threw the ball, and a late flag goes down, and I think a personal foul going against the Lions for the hit on Berline, and that's what it is.
Well, Porcher got loose in there and was chasing him from behind, and at the very end of that play, he just jacks him.
Personal foul. Number 54 on a defense. Going at the quarterback's knees after the ball was thrown. 15-yard penalty. Tacked on into the run. First down.
Oh, I see. It's Luther Ellis, number 94, dives after he's thrown the ball and gets flagged for that. As if you watch Berline, looks like he sprained his ankle on that one. Now he got up slow.
Now they gave 54, which would be Spielman.
But no, it was.
But it was 94, Luther Ellis.
And he's a young guy. He's a rookie this year. Has no sacks, and I was a little frustrated. John Cherling, the defensive line coach, has told us he's really progressed well, but he's really frustrated because he doesn't have a sack on the year. So, you know, you'll do anything to get that sack.
I'll tack on the extra yardage on the penalty, and the ball is out at the 49-yard line. First down for Jacksonville. And the handoff goes to Lachey Maston. Mike Johnson trips him up near the 45-yard line of Detroit.
Well, the Jags offense holding true to form, keep running those draws, keep these guys guessing. Does a nice job up front, opening the holes. And Maston's getting a nice workload here. You know, he's normally a blocker. He's the guy they go to help spring Dunbar or Stewart, and he's the one that's carrying the load here in the first half.
It's really a shame that Stewart can't go today because he was really starting to play well. He had 92 yards rushing last week against the Colts, and so picking up the load is that man, Lachey Maston. Second down and 4. Berline. A couple of pumps, and then he lost the ball as losing it was Dunbar. Was picked off by Ryan McNeil, who just took it in midair and carries it to the 45-yard line, and there's a flag on the play too.
Well, you've got to make those catches. Dunbar open. Berline seemed to put the ball right on the numbers.
And the penalty will go against Jacksonville.
Personal foul. 15-yard face pass, 89. 15-yard penalty into the run. First down.
Tom Coughlin. You don't want to take his temperature right now. Berline on the pass, Tunch.
Nice pep, puts it right where it needs to be. Nice job of stripping the ball. Actually, Mike Johnson was the one that made that play. Came in and stripped the ball. And there's the face mask at the end. As you see Mike Johnson, number 59, stripping the ball loose, and McNeil making the interception. You know, the Lions do a very nice job of stripping the ball. They cause a lot of turnovers, a lot of fumbles, and they coach that. Come in and dig the ball out.
The fake to Sanders, and Mitchell going down the sideline. Herman Moore is up, and they rule him out of bounds down at the 16-yard line.
That was a nice ball.
Oh, that was a great catch. And Moore holding on to the ball, saying he had it, and he had the feet down, too.
As you watch Moore giving a quick out and out, or down, out, and out. Scott Mitchell does a great job of putting the ball right on the sidelines as he comes down. He was out of bounds. He didn't have that one. As we see the right foot.
Boy, I don't know. Almost.
He's
Dave Thomas, the defensive back, shoves him out.
I think just the outside portion of his foot was out, but hey, that's still out.
Second down and 10. Sanders. Pritchett got an armful of them down near the 37-yard line. Detroit leading 17-0, so their last 3 possessions go this way. Field goal, touchdown, touchdown. They've had great field position. And that leads to 17 points. They are a team that is just humming along right now towards the playoffs. They've scored on all of their possessions here today. Mitchell. Dropped by Herman Moore, who actually looks down in amazement at his hands. What was that? Well, following the game right here on NBC, It's the conclusion of the Lexus Challenge, hosted by Raymond Floyd. Celebrities Clint Eastwood, our own Bryant Gumbel, Dr. J, and others pair up with golf's biggest names like Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Raymond Floyd in the game's newest event, two-man best ball for a $1 million total purse. Now going into the final round, George Archer and Glenn Fry, Hale Irwin, and Dr. J tied for the lead at 10 under. Mitchell, fourth down, they go for it, and they're going to get it. Herman Moore to the 25-yard line, and the Lions get a first down.
The way this offense is humming right now, Jim, they can do anything they want. As Moore runs a quick slant as he's working on number 41 there, Dave Thomas, and the ball is right on the numbers. And Tom Moore told us, we're going to take what they give us. If they line up, if they bring 7 in the box to stop Barry, we're going to start throwing the ball. If they lay off and start playing zone and giving our guys, watching our deep guys, then we're going to put it underneath the Barry. And they're just doing whatever they want to do just right now.
Sounds simple to me. David Sloan is the tight end going in motion. Barry Sanders runs right to the left side, and Schwartz brings him down. Let's go off to New York and check in with Greg Gumbel again.
All right, Jim, and we're off to the Astrodome in Houston, where rookie quarterback Steve McNair, making his first start for the Oilers, unleashes a 34-yard touchdown pass to Haywood Jeffries. Add that to the field goal the Oilers had on the board already, and it's a 10-0 Houston lead over the Jets. Jim.
Greg, I'll tell you what, that McNair had these Lions very, very nervous last week as he almost rallied and beat them or sent the game into overtime as Mitchell scrambles out of the pocket on second down and gets up near a first down as he's down near the 16-yard line. Kelvin Pritchard makes the tackle.
Mitchell doing a nice job of avoiding the pass rush, stepping up and getting something out of nothing. As we watch the replay, steps up just in front of Schwartz, blitzing number 58, and gets out of harm's way of Kelvin Pritchard, putting pressure on.
Third down now. Mitchell hit and dropped. They get him down by the feet, and Corey Mayfield brings him down and drops him back near the 22-yard line.
Well, you know he's going to kick the field goal on this time, but you know with this offense they're doing a lot of 3- and 5-step drops, and so with the defense, what the premium is on protection to hold the center guards, to hold them tight, not give up a lot of ground. Now on the other side of the ball, you want the defense to get pressure by pushing the pocket, get a nice bull rush, and you got 300-pound Corey Mayfield doing just that.
Spot close to the 29-yard line. Royals will hold for Hansen, who's 1 for 1 on the day. 39-yard field goal attempt. He's good. And Detroit's had the ball 4 times, and they've scored all 4 times and lead 20-0.
Test drive the exciting new GL Series by the Citizen Watch Company. Citizen is how the world tells time. By Intel, the world's leading maker of microprocessors. And by Red Dog Beer. Bold yet smooth, unusually easy to drink. You are your own dog.
Jim Donovan along with Tunch Ilkin back at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. And after a 39-yard field goal by Jason Hansen, his second of the day, the Lions have stretched their lead to 20-0 over Jacksonville. And well on their way to their 6th win in a row. The ball sailing down to Curtis Marsh. He takes it right at the goal line. And runs it out short of the 20. Good coverage. Corey Schlesinger is down on the tackle, along with Tom Beer. And the ball is out just shy of the 20-yard line at the 19. Now, you're Jacksonville, Tunch. You're down 20-0. Now, what do you do? I mean, you've really had everything go poorly for you here in the first half.
Well, you just have to develop a drive, first of all. You have to move the chains, get your confidence going again. And don't panic. Now's not the time to start throwing every down. Stay with the game plan. There's still 8 minutes left in the first half.
Dunbar and Maston are in the backfield. And Berline throws. Ooh, that was almost picked off by McNeil, who stepped in front of Willie Jackson. And if McNeil comes down with it, he's going for his second interception of the day and a touchdown.
Well, it's a 3-step drop, quick pass to Jackson. And know what Berline was doing on that play is he was looking at Jackson from the get-go, and it gave McNeil a great opportunity to read the quarterback eyes and make a play on the ball.
2nd down and 10. You could really tell Berline was going to him all the way on that pass, and so did McNeil. This is Vaughn Dunbar. From behind, Chris Spielman gets him.
You know, Spielman plays it great. One of the problems that they were having early in the season is they were trying to go through this transformation from a 34 defense to a 4-3 defense, and the linebackers weren't attacking. They were playing read like in the old 34. Now, Herbatair's got that linebacking core blitzing and attacking. I mean, that's what the defense is designed to do. It's designed to attack. In the first 9 games, they had trouble, you know, balancing the old 3-4 with Herbatair and the new 4-3 attack defense with John Teerlink. And now, over the last 4 ball games, they have been really firing on all cylinders.
3rd down and 10. And Berline throws, and he has his tight end. Pete Mitchell catches for 1st down over the 30. Mike Johnson is over on the coverage for the Lions. Mitchell, who is from around the Pontiac and Detroit area, Bloomfield Hills, went to Brother Rice High School, then off to Boston College, and that's where he hooked up with Tom Coughlin.
Gets loose, one-on-one coverage by Mike Johnson. A little bit of a mismatch with the speed of Mitchell. And actually the route running by Mitchell, they say runs great patterns. He's not exceptionally fast, but does a nice job getting open.
Good to see him in the lineup. He got banged up last week against Indianapolis and had to leave the game. Berline throws down the middle, and Mitchell was standing at the 45-yard line and had stopped, and then the ball was delivered way on down by the Detroit 40.
Well, you know, that's a problem you have with rotating quarterbacks. You know, in today's high-powered offenses, it's very important that the receivers and the quarterbacks read the coverage together. And if they don't, when you zig, you zag. The quarterback zigs and the receiver zags, and that's what we've seen a couple times today. And with Brunell in a couple weeks and Berline in the other weeks, they haven't had a continuity all season.
Of course, if they had their druthers right now, Brunell would be the guy, but he's hurt. The hamstring's been a real problem. Nice play by Porcher as he gets into the backfield and brings down the Jacksonville ball carrier, as it was Lachey Masson, and he barely got the handoff.
Running a quick hitter, 91, Porcher on the right side of your screen. Just a trap, and Dave Whitell, the center's got to come back and pick him off. It's a tough thing for a center to do because the guard's pulling, and you've got to take the guard's guy, and Porcher just gets a great jump. And that's when we get back to the hard count, why it's so important that the Jags offense could switch the count up so they could feel comfortable, so these guys could stay off balance and they can't just tee off and anticipate the count.
On 3rd and 12, Berline's got to get out of there. Lions coming at him from every direction, but he finds his man. It's Pete Mitchell, and he is not going to go down easily, is he? 1st down to the 47-yard line.
But Berline gets up limping again, and did Brian DeMarco get away with one? I can't believe there's not a flag. He yanked down Antonio London, number 55, and just tackled him.
23-yard on the pass play and a 1st down.
As you see number 73 on the left side of your screen, London gets the corner on him, and he just yanks him down. Berline gets a shot at the end of that, and he got up limping. Nice job by Mitchell to keep fighting for every extra yard.
1st down. Brian DeMarco played at Michigan State. Done a nice job at right tackle. Here's Lachey Maston. He finds a hole, then fumbles the ball, and Mike Johnson has it bounced up in the air, and I believe he's on it. Lions ball. It's just not working. Nothing is going well for Jacksonville. Even when they make a good play, the ball spits out on them.
Well, a quick draw to Maston. They've been running as you see Mike Johnson is stripping the ball, and the ball comes through. Johnson, number 51, strips it, recovers it himself.
And it's Lions ball when we come back.
Lachey Maston is just so frustrated now. Lachey Maston is just so frustrated now. He's talking to himself, as you can see right there. I mean, that's a big turnover right when the drive was gone.
2nd one of the day. The Lions recover. Here's Mitchell on 1st down. Again, the fake to Sanders, and again, he's going for Herman Moore. And Dave Thomas had pretty good coverage on him, and it's incomplete. Well, next Sunday, NBC Sports presents another exciting NFL doubleheader starting at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL on NBC. Featured on our doubleheader lineup, playoff spots are on the line on the final Sunday of the regular season in a classic divisional rivalry as comeback kid John Elway leads his Broncos into Oakland to battle Tim Brown and the Raiders, both looking for wild card spots. So there's your lineup coming up next Sunday, Christmas Eve.
Some awfully good football games to look forward to.
Second down after the incompleted pass. Sanders to the middle, to the outside, and easily cruises up into the Jacksonville bench to pay a visit with them. He gets a good block again from those wide receivers. This time Perryman clears the corner for him.
Well, they're a great trio of blockers. You know what makes Barry so effective is he starts to play out to the left and dips inside for a second. And he freezes all the linebackers, and then he cuts it back to the outside. And now these guys are in hot pursuit, and they just can't catch him.
Perryman, when we met with him yesterday, said he just loves to block for Barry Sanders because someday he wants to tell his kids, well, you know what? I blocked for the greatest running back who ever played the game. On third down and short, I don't know. Looks like Jacksonville stonewalls that play and might have the Lions short of the first down.
Will be an interesting decision for Wayne Fontes. He's gone for it once, and oh, he's got a first down. You know, another interesting thing, Jim, is that, as you pointed out early in the telecast, they never changed their personnel. Tom Moore says, I'm going to go with the same three receivers, one back and one tight end all game. I don't want them to come out unless they're hurt or if they're tired. And even then, I want them to stay in there. So in an age in the NFL where there's multiple offenses and multiple looks, these guys stay with the same 11.
Sanders on first down. Maybe 2 or 3 yards. Vinnie Clark has him down at the ankles along with Joel Smengi.
Look at these records by Barry Sanders. Most rushes career, most rushes yards, career, season. I could go out and get a hot dog and come back and those records still be rolling. They'd still be rolling.
Yeah. It's like watching movie credits.
And you know what's really great about him is if he only gets 5 or 6 carries, they were saying that he never gets down. I mean, he says, whatever we need to do to win the game, coach. I mean, I don't care if I get my carries or not. And it's like everyone on this football team pays homage to Barry Sanders.
Mickey Washington. He got Sanders and then wrapped him up, and that's so important because sometimes you can have him and he can make you miss, and so Washington just wouldn't let him go down, and he drops him for a loss back near the 49-yard line.
You know, Sanders is such an unselfish team player. When you have a guy like this who's so great, you know, the general feeling is get him the ball, get him the ball, get him the ball. But it's no big deal with him if he doesn't get his carries. He's saying, look, we got 3 guys on the wideouts that are very capable, and he's a great guy to have for a team. He's even a better individual than he is a player.
From the outside, Smengi comes in. That ball ends up loose, and Glover, the center, ends up with it at the 46-yard line. Smengi belts Mitchell. The ball pops loose, and maybe Glover didn't get a touchdown, but he recovers a fumble. This is going to be his day, and now let's see if hoping that Mitchell is okay. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. It's been all Lions. 20-0 they lead. This is the NFL on NBC. Here's a little victory for the Jacksonville defense. First punt of the day now for the Lions, and Mark Royals hits it. Desmond Howard's back there, but it ends up inside the 20. They'll mark him out by about the 18-yard line, and it will be first down for the Jaguars there. And we'll be back to the Silver Dome. 20-0 Detroit in the lead. It's Jacksonville ball. They're at their own 18-yard line. They're down 20-0 with 1:52 left to go here in the first half. Steve Berline, nice pocket for him, and he drills the ball down the middle, and it's complete out near the 16-yard line to Desmond Howard.
Nice protection for Berline there. No one even got close. Allowed him to step up in the pocket and find his receiver.
Right up to the line of scrimmage, into the hurry-up. As time ticks down here in the first half. Berline throws, and that's picked off. Willie Clay has it. 20. He has the corner, and Berline tried to knock him out. And he's out at the 1-yard line. Willie Clay, 7th interception of the season for him.
Berline getting a little pressure from number 97, Scroggins right there, and Porcher. Great job by Willie Clay, just stepping right in front of Willie Jackson.
Oh boy, he was close to getting that pylon and having the touchdown. And that's what the crowd's reacting to in the background.
You know, he's not happy about it. When they have an opportunity to score and they don't, it's real frustrating. Great hustle by Burline.
Now the pylon is in. I mean, if you touch the pylon, you're in. You've got the touchdown.
And great hustle by Burline. Not a lot of quarterbacks are going to try to make that tackle. Some quarterbacks in this league walk off to the sidelines after they throw the pick.
From the 1, Sanders is hit and stood up by Joel Smenke. Boy, that was like a wrestling match there. Well, we got a lot coming up for you at halftime as our Domino's halftime report. Greg, Joe, and, well, a couple of Joes. Gibbs in Montana. They're in New York. They'll have all the scores and highlights for you. And Bob Costas and Mike Ditka are covering the situation in Cleveland. The Browns, what looks to be their final home game at Cleveland Municipal Stadium against the Cincinnati Bengals, and they'll have the story from there. Second down and goal. The ball is at the 2-yard line as Sanders actually loses one, and he got hit again by Smenke, but he gets to the outside and scores!
That's amazing. There is not many running backs, if any, besides Barry Sanders, that can make that play. I mean, Smenke comes in from the outside, free shot from the outside linebacker position, number 99 from the right of your screen, and just donks him. And Barry doesn't wrap him up, and Barry just spins off, totally reverses his field, and no pursuit there. Just outruns it. Here we go. See Joel Smenke coming in after he tags him one time the play before. This time just does not wrap him up.
You know, and another good block by Perryman once he saw Sanders go out to the corner. That's about 4 times today. You notice a fine block by those wide receivers. You know, Hanson's extra point, Tunch is good. 40 seconds to go in the first half, and it goes on and on and on for the Lions. Amazing, and I mean the amazing Barry Sanders scores from 2 yards out. It's like one of those old Jim Brown touchdowns, isn't it? As he got hit in the backfield, turned it to the outside and scored. And of course, many people compare him to Jim Brown with his numbers. Here's Marsh on the kickoff return for Jacksonville, and he is brought down by Scott Kolakowski. And the ball is out over the 20. Let's take another look at what is in the scorebook, a 2-yard touchdown run, but it's so much more.
Nice job by Smenke. He doesn't, you know, they say tackling him is like trying to tackle mercury. You know, it just keeps squirting through your fingers, through your arms. Smenke comes in and just tags him, and Barry just spins out. And nice block by Perriman. That was a great block. And Tom Moore told us that this trio of wide receivers are the best blocking wide receivers he's ever seen.
The last 3 possessions for Jacksonville, they've turned the ball over. And there's the result. Lions 27, Jaguars nothing. And they're still throwing, and Pete Mitchell makes the catch. Chris Spielman brings him down at the 27-yard line. Well, Mitchell's going to have a good day here today on his homecoming.
Well, Burline takes a shot again by Scroggins. Scroggins gets the corner on Bazzelli, and Burline has just been hit way too many times. He's limping. As you look at the frustration on his face, number 97 Scroggins with a rip move, he gets the corner on Bazzelli and takes a shot at him and throws him down. You don't want your quarterback to take that many shots, or he's not going to be able to finish the game. And they're really happy with Scroggins. He's got 8.5 sacks on the year, and John Teerlink, their defensive line coach, is very pleased with the way he's playing. He really gets after the quarterback. And he's going against a fine, young offensive tackle in Tony Bazzelli. Bazzelli, just a rookie, number 71. John Robinson, former coach of the Southern Cal, says he is the best offensive tackle he's ever seen. And he's seen some great ones in Munoz and Marvin Powell.
Of course, his progress was slowed. Remember, this kid didn't get a chance to have any kind of training camp because he injured his knee early in training camp, missed the entire training camp, and then rehabbed and finally got back into the lineup early in the season. Second down. Burline going to give it a shot long for Marsh. And the ball is incomplete out by the Lion 40-yard line. Massey on the coverage for Detroit.
Well, Massey was running with him step for step.
And we have 19 seconds left to go. And some would say you're down 27-0, take a knee and get to the locker room and try and regroup. But there is no fight in Tom Coughlin and the Jaguars because they're still going to try and make something out of this.
Well, you know, he's a rock. You know, he leads with that chin. And that's one thing about this team. They have not quit all year. They have played hard, physical football to the very end.
Watch out. All kinds of people coming from the outside, and they find a hole, and Cedric Tillman is inside the 45-yard line. Corey Raymond was coming on another one of those corner blitzes, and I think that's how Tillman ended up with so much space out there. First down for them inside Lion territory.
And Jacksonville does a great job of picking up the blitz there. As we watch Tillman almost short arms this. He's cringing. He looks like he's about to get tagged, and there was no one near him.
You know, he can say, though, I lost it in the lights, and that's what I was shielding my eyes there.
Well, he's coming back to the huddle kind of sheepishly. Like if he would have dropped that one, he would have been definitely hearing footsteps.
Tillman's been a good slot receiver for them, and they really like him in the slot as he made that catch all the way down to the 44-yard line. That was a 28-yard play, and they have shown signs of moving. They had a couple of good drives. One ends in a missed field goal from 27 yards when Lachey Maston got loose and ran well for them. And Berline's, I think he's had pretty good protection this afternoon. For the most part, he's had a nice pocket for himself, but it's those mistakes. You know, they just rear their head right at a bad time, and turnovers. The last 3 possessions, turnovers. Let's see if they can get some points here in the final 11 seconds. Berline again, it's going to be intercepted. It's Corey Raymond. Raymond has it at the 40. He's going to start to pick up some blocking. And I think he might have been looking for the Stanford band there to come out and march onto the field and escort him down into the end zone. Oh, what a first half for Jacksonville. 27-0, the Lions lead at halftime. Wayne Fontes on his way to the playoffs and his 6th win in a row. And we'll be back with the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report right after this.
When it's got to be great, and it's got to be now, it's got to be.
Break down this way. Turnovers, and we highlight it for you. 3 Jacksonville turnovers, and Detroit goes in and scores in some fashion on all of them, Tunch. And so anytime the Jaguars made a mistake, the Lions were right there defensively to scoop it up.
Well, I think that's a very important stat is turnovers and turnover to point ratio. And every time Detroit has come up with a turnover, it has turned into points, and that is very big.
Barry Sanders always gives you great highlights, and here's one. It's a 2-yard touchdown run, but watch this play.
You know, Barry starts up to the right. Joel Schmange makes a great play, but doesn't wrap him up, and he totally reverses his field. I think Barry Sanders has more exciting 2- and 3-yard runs and runs for losses than anybody else to play this game.
And so Sanders getting stretched out over on the Detroit sideline as he'll begin work here in the second half. And the Lions will get the ball first. Williams and Rivers are back deep for Detroit. Hollis kicks it away. Rivers takes it at his 10. And runs it out near the 30-yard line. And there's some extra pushing and shoving after the tackle and away from the ball as Rivers carries out there. Christopherson is in on the tackle for the Jaguars. 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. Barry back out, second half. 67 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns in the first half. And a couple of times pinned in the backfield, nailed for a couple of negative yardage plays by Jacksonville.
And this is where you'll see a lot more Barry in the second half. Now when, you know, they've got their points, they've got 27 points. Now all they want to do is run out the clock, keep the ball. And this is a great time. Give it to Barry, have him eat up the clock and eat up some yardage.
And he'll get it on first down. See right there again, they're in the backfield. Coming in on the play was Paul Fraze, the right defensive end, to swirl in, and then Gogenius lands on top of Sanders. And that's a smart way to do it. Once he gets the ball, someone gets a hand on him, Tunch, then everyone should go to the ball because usually that first tackler is not going to be the last tackler.
Well, you know, you can't wait on Barry Sanders. You have to attack him because he's going to make you miss either or. At least you want to be aggressive in your misses instead of sitting on your heels and miss.
He loses one. Mitchell A lot of time. His tight end, David Sloan, who pushes for about 7 extra yards after the catch to the Jacksonville 48-yard line.
Well, Sloan, that number 86, a rookie tight end out of New Mexico, and they say this guy is going to be one of the best tight ends before his career is over. He's a raw bone, big old country kid, and does a great job of getting open on this as Mitchell puts the ball right in the hole in the Jacksonville zone.
Do you think he would enjoy being called a raw bone, big old country boy?
Well, that was coming from Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator. That's what he told, that's how he described it.
Well, it was from the heart, I think. First down. Mitchell, get out of bounds because the playoffs are coming and you don't want to get banged up in a 27-0 game, and so Scott finds the Jacksonville bench.
You know, Jimmy, he reminds me
of me.
Oh, yeah, of you. He reminds me of Bernie Kosar. You know, he's out in the open field here, not real pretty, not a lot of speed. Tries to make a little cut. Nah, I think I'm going to get out of bounds and save the hit.
Well, there were an extra 3 yards there, but I think a wise 3 yards to the left gets him into the Jacksonville bench. 4 yards on the play, 2nd and 6. From the outside, Smengi from the blind side, and Mitchell throws it down into the turf. The Jacksonville sideline, of course, would want grounding on that play, but Smengi's been a really strong rusher here today. He's the guy that's been in the backfield hitting Sanders. It looks like he's blitzing on every play, Tunch.
Well, you know, they move him around a little bit, Jim. You know, he plays some defensive end. He started out as a defensive end at the beginning of the season, played defensive end for most of the year. They had some injuries to their linebackers. They moved him to his old outside linebacking spot, which he played in New Orleans. And today, he's running nickel end, and in the first down defense, he's running at an outside linebacker. Here we see him in a down position. He's been very aggressive, having a big day.
Pritchett lunged across the line of scrimmage. The throw is over the head of Perriman, who gets submarined. It was Harry Cullen, the safety, who comes up and takes the legs from underneath Perriman, but Pritchett, 94, appeared to have jumped across the line of scrimmage. Howard Rowe, our referee.
Defense, offsides, number 94. Penalized 5 yards, previous spot. Repeat 3rd down.
Well, Pritchard with the quick trigger on that one, with the hair trigger. Trying to get a jump on the ball, gets thrown off sides by Mitchell, and it's hard count.
It's got to be hard for a guy like Kelvin Pritchett, who was a Lion, went to Jacksonville, though, signed down there for probably some big money, but now he's looking at his old team playing so well and probably going to the postseason. Mitchell on 3rd and inches goes right, and he gets a couple of yards out near the 35 of Jacksonville. Brian Schwartz is in on the tackle, but it's a first down for the Lions.
Well, you know, getting back to Kelvin Pritchard, I'll tell you what, it's really been a shock to his system, going from playing for Wayne Fonts, never puts on the pads, never contact during practice, down to Tom Coughlin, who's got this tough discipline regime where they've got 2.5-hour practices, full pads, full board every day, and it's like a different world for him.
It's been quite an adjustment for him. 1st and 10 at the 35. Again, jumping around, a blitz coming from the outside. They run up towards the middle and push ahead for a couple of yards. Keith Goganius on the tackle. There was a little bit of a change in the Jacksonville practice week. The players getting sent for one of their rigorous workouts this Thursday, and they got a chance to just go with pads and shorts rather than in full equipment, and that was the only time this year that that's happened.
And Sean Bounds said, I thought it was a joke or a lie or something. I didn't believe it because there wasn't an announcement made and people were just putting on their shoulder pads. It was like a bad rumor, and I didn't want to believe it in case it wasn't true.
But it was. 2nd down. Mitchell lobs the ball to the middle in the direction of Herman Moore at the 20-yard line, and it's incomplete. And in effect, he was just throwing that one away. There was a big rush coming from the outside by the Jaguars. As coming through clean was Keith Goganius.
Also, Mickey Washington was also number 25 in on that blitz. Mitchell did well to just get the ball out and not take a sack.
You know, you hear so much about Moore and Perriman and Sanders, but Mitchell, it really has all started when he became comfortable with this offense. And And he's had a great year. 3rd down and 9. He's going to go for Herman Moore and just overthrew him. He was open at the 5-yard line with Dave Thomas trailing on the play.
Well, you know, getting back to what Tom Moore told us, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, that what they did with Mitchell is they simplified the offense a little. They have him just doing reads on one half of the field. He's not scanning the whole field on his pass routes. He's just looking to one side. And also, they cut the drop down to 3- and 5-set drops, and then that quick rhythm type passing game. And he has responded very well with this. He's much more comfortable. He only has 1 or 2 progressions, and he's made some very smart reads.
They're going for a Tunch on 4th down and 9. They did this in the first half on 4th and 8 and got it. They go for it on 4th and 9, and it looks like he has it again. Herman Moore with Thomas on the coverage inside the 25 to the 24. 1st down, Lions.
Hey, when it's going well, it goes well. You know, these things tend to snowball, good and bad, and right now we're watching it snowball real good for the Lions with a nice play to Herman Moore. Just finds the hole in that zone for the 1st down. And right now it's going to be a nightmare for the Jacksonville team.
Oh, I think it's been that way for some time now here in this one. This one has not gone well from a little after kickoff as Barry Sanders tries to find some room and then takes the sideline with Mickey Washington running up there.
Well, number 93, Ernie Logan, was hot. Boy, he felt that he was held. Did a very nice job of just stringing it out, getting the outside position on Lomas Brown, the offensive tackle, and just stringing the whole play out, allowing pursuit to catch up and make the play.
You know, a running back and a young running back can probably learn so much from watching Sanders because he makes so many good decisions during the run as to where he's going to go. And if there's nothing there, take it to the outside, find the sideline, 2nd down. And the catch by Perriman, and he's down near the 11.
And they learned that they can't do that stuff because no one's genetically gifted like Barry Sanders.
And there's going to be another game ball. That's going to be our 3rd that's going to be taken off as Perriman and Moore continue to have record-setting years catching the ball from Scott Mitchell. That's his 100th reception of the year, Brett Perriman, and a nice hand. Perriman was a little bit disappointed this week when he was not selected as a Pro Bowl receiver, and he's had great numbers, and he knows that Herman Moore deserved it.
You know, if he was in the AFC, he'd be the starting wideout.
Yeah, no question. Mitchell away from the pressure, and then look out. Don Davey got right up in his face mask, and the pass is incomplete.
Well, Davey putting the pressure on. Don Davey's the kind of guy that you love to have. He gets sacks from relentless pressure, not necessarily from great moves as he's coming in from the inside, just working, and finally getting to Scott Mitchell.
Boy, it could have been a shot to the head there. You know, they do so much protecting of those quarterbacks in that kind of situation, but I think he pulled off fast enough. So Davey gets away with it. Hansen today will attempt the field goal. This will be his 3rd of the day, 2 for 2, and those are the numbers. Royals is going to put it down near the 24. So in the vicinity of 34 yards on the field goal attempt. And like everything else Detroit has done today, Hansen does it successfully. And it's 30-0 Lions here in the 3rd quarter. Welcome back to the Silver Dome in Pontiac. Detroit leading 30-0. Jason Hansen has the ball teed up after he kicked his 3rd field goal of the day, 3 for 3, and officially it was a 33-yard field goal. And the Lions took 5 minutes and 21 seconds off the clock to start the 2nd half. This is going to be Curtis Marsh, and he takes it inside his 5-yard line for the Jaguars. And reads the return well out to the 32-yard line. We'll be back with the Jaguars' first possession on the quarter number 3 right after this timeout. Jaguars ball at the 31-yard line. 9:27 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 30-0 Detroit in the lead. Steve Berline throws. Willie Jackson tried to come up with the ball. It's incomplete. at the 41-yard line. Corey Raymond is in on the coverage. Tom Coughlin, during our last break, still working the officials, even down 30 points. I think he's talking about that interception early in the game that didn't go their way. Are you sure, absolutely positive that Mickey Washington did not have possession of the ball in the end zone?
Well, you know, he is unwavering. I mean, there is no quit in him. He's, you know, and talking to us yesterday, he was saying, sure, we're frustrated, sure, we're depressed, we've lost some close games. Hey, but nobody's going to feel sorry for us, and we got to start back up every Tuesday and get ready for the next week's opponent.
That's going to be a face mask on Clay, who gets the face mask of Vaughn Dunbar out at the 32-yard line.
See, that's what happens. You work your official a little bit, the very next play, you get the flag.
That's a stretch, Tunch.
I used to always tell the officials, you know, I've never had a penalty called on me in my entire career. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on you, though.
Now, they are discussing this flag.
Yeah, sure, they're saying, hey, don't throw the flag just because Coughlin was working you.
I think what Willie Clay is contending is that he didn't
no
have...
flag on the play. No
absolutely.
foul on the
Well, that's
play.
the way the whole day's gone for Jacksonville. Willie Clay is saying that he did not grab the face mask, that he just came across the helmet. Here it is.
We'll watch the replay. Nice tackle. No, he doesn't have a hold of that face mask. He's got the face mask in the crook of the elbow, which Fred the Hammer Williams made a career on years ago for the Kansas City Chiefs. Stating myself there a little bit.
3rd down and 9. A blitz from the outside. Willie Jackson makes the catch, but a nice play by Willie Clay to get right over there and rip him out of bounds. And we're going to visit with Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, in Buffalo, turnovers have allowed the Miami Dolphins to come back after a Jim Kelly interception. Dan Marino, 25 yards to Eric Green down the middle. The fumble happened after the touchdown was scored. 3:05 to play in the third. It's a 13-13 tie. Dolphins and the Bills. Jim?
Boy, that fumble just happened after he got into the end zone. All right, the punt right now, and Brett Perriman will run under it and watch it hit at the 22. Takes a nice bounce. And he's out to the 25-yard line. 8 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. 30-0 Lions. This is the NFL on NBC. Welcome back, everybody. It looks like the next time Jacksonville has the ball, we're going to see a change at quarterback, and that's Rob Johnson, the rookie out of Southern Cal, getting warmed up.
But, you know, Berline's been limping, and I don't know if they're taking him out because he's ineffective or because he's hurt, because he's taking so many shots today.
But before he gets in there, it's Detroit ball leading 30-0. The throw and a nice play from behind, but he was too tight. Vinnie Clark will get flagged for hitting Herman Moore over the back at the 35-yard line.
Vinny getting there just a little bit early on that one. Tried to play through the receiver to make the breakup of the pass and ends up riding Moore's back. And Scott's just smiling because everything that's going, that could go well is.
All right, it's a 1st down out to the 37-yard line.
See, nice protection here for Scott Mitchell. Just getting a little too close.
He had his right arm hooked around the collar of Herman Moore. 1st and 10. Lions are out now at the 37-yard line. Mitchell. And it's caught by Perriman, and Mickey Washington will push him out of bounds after a gain out over the 40.
You know, this Detroit Lion offensive line has been doing an outstanding job all season long. You know, Columbus Brown going to his 5th or 6th Pro Bowl, and you know, he hasn't missed a game in his 11-year career. And David Lutz there, a 13-year guy. Zephyrus Moss, who they got via free agency from Indianapolis, who has really added a lot. It's big, strong. And these guys have done a great job of run blocking for Barry Sanders and also keeping Scott Mitchell clean.
We'll get a little dose of Barry Sanders out to the 45-yard line. Christmas Day, join NBC Sports for an exciting NBA doubleheader starting with NBA Showtime at 3 Eastern. Then David Robinson, the Admiral, and the San Antonio Spurs travel to take on Phoenix as Charles Barkley and the Suns will be ready. Then in Game 2, the NBA champion Houston Rockets make a Christmas voyage to the Magic Kingdom to battle Shaq and the Orlando Magic. A holiday NBA doubleheader Christmas Day here on NBC. Good to see the Shaq back as he came back into the Magic lineup on Friday night. Barry Sanders with another nifty run for a first down and into Jaguar territory to the 49-yard line. Davis comes up from a safety spot to make the tackle, and Brian Schwartz there too.
Barry does a nice job of just seeing the whole field on this little delay. Finds the hole, just gets right behind Kevin Glover. Just a nice job of hitting the hole, finding where it is, and taking it up.
$75 yards rushing today. Schwartz coming up on the line of scrimmage. 58 showing blitz, so they throw it to the tight end Sloan, and he is out at the 41-yard line.
And there, as we see, the Sloan heads. I'd actually like to have a fan club called the Sloan heads. It's great. As Dave Sloan, you know, when I was talking to him the other day, he was telling me how this long 16-game schedule has just got him worn out, and he says he has so much to learn. He's been learning a lot from Rodney Holman, but it's got his head spinning, the mental aspect of this ball game.
Sanders decides he's going to go a different direction and another direction, and finally Smengi brings him down. Joel Smengi and the entire Jaguar front seven chased him all around the Silverdome field.
Well, Jacksonville defense doing a real nice job of corralling them there. They're staying in their rush lanes, staying in the cutback lanes, allowing the whole defense to get in pursuit and just to hem them in, and Smengi coming in there and just cleaning it up. Just nice job all the way down the line.
Sets up 3rd down and 3.
And that's what you have to do to Barry Sanders. You have to stay in the cutback lanes. You can't allow him to take it all the way back and break those big ones on you.
Herman Moore, Dave Thomas was there fighting him for the ball, and a flag goes down. Thomas can't believe it. He's going to take his helmet off to plead his case.
Well, I think that's the right call. You have to look back at the ball.
And he did not.
And he wasn't doing that. He was playing the guy, ran right into him. As you see, Thomas, number 41, one-on-one with Moore, and Moore does a nice job. And Mitchell lays the ball right up and allows him to go for it. But
well, he did glance back, but he was all over Moore while he was looking
well, he
back.
ran into Moore before he glanced back. See, he glances back after the contact has already been made, so the call is the right one. So he's saying, hey, I was looking for the ball. It was too late. You already ran up his back.
And the ball goes down inside the 30 of Jacksonville at the 26. It's going to be a reverse to Johnny Morton with Perryman blocking on the outside. He cuts inside that block and gets down inside the 20-yard line.
Well, they're getting Morton involved in the offense. You know, he said he didn't want to be a $3 million decoy. And Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, just pulling out all stops, showing the entire offense. And it's a great idea because you know everyone's going to get sucked in on Barry.
Hey, you know what? Scott Mitchell threw a nice block there, too.
You love to see those. You know, he's a big guy. He's almost like he's 6'6", about 230, the size of a tight end in the old days, anyhow. And he's out there throwing the blocks. You love quarterbacks that'll get out there and stick their heads in there.
Sanders just a couple of yards down to the 17-yard line and then push back. Paul Fraze is over on top of him along with Don Davey.
And you'll get back to Mitchell. I'm sure Wayne Fonts is probably going to chew his ear when he comes off the sidelines about getting out there and blocking. He says, hey, you throw the ball. Let the big guys block.
So the Lions continue to work on that clock as it runs down here in the 3rd quarter. They took 5:21 off the first time they had it. And now we're under 4.5 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. Sanders going out in motion. Mitchell across the middle. Morton's second touchdown catch of the day.
Well, that's a mismatch. The Jags are in a zone. Brian Schwartz, number 58, ends up covering Johnny Morton. Detroit doing a great job of spreading out the field. You see number 58 in zone covering Johnny Morton, and that's a mismatch in anybody's book. You can't expect a big old 250-pound linebacker to keep up with a fleet-footed wide receiver.
36-0 Lions. Hanson's kick is good. 37-0 Detroit. Johnny Morton has had a good day. 2 touchdown catches. And the Lions score again. Johnny Morton catches a 17-yard pass from Scott Mitchell.
Well, Morton's here on the slot, and he's running a quick post pattern. And what makes this play go is you see Barry Sanders coming across in motion, and everybody bites on him. Schwartz looks at him momentarily, and that just frees Morton up for the touchdown.
Well, he's gotten the ball a lot. 2 touchdown catches. He ran a reverse here today. Johnny Morton having a big day. Not a decoy today in the Lions game plan. Hanson kicks it away, and it will be Randy Jordan. He's got it at the 2-yard line for the Jaguars. And out to the 24. Van Malone brings him down for the first time. Rob Johnson out of Southern Cal will come in and take over for Steve Berline. And those are his college numbers at Southern Cal. And they feel that he will be Brunell's backup now next year when the season starts for Jacksonville. And that Berline will probably, Steve will have to search elsewhere to try and find another team. We have an injured player down on the field. We'll be right back to the Silverdome after this. 37-0 Lions. Rob Johnson in the Jaguars huddle getting set for his first action. I bet he's very excited. 37-0 the Lions in the lead over Jacksonville, so they'll get him some playing time with 3:57 left to go here in the third quarter. He's going to get what's left here and then all of the fourth.
Well, maybe you could bring him back, Jim. Only 37 down.
Oh boy, a high tackle again, and the ball goes out to the 34-yard line. Let's go off to New York and check in with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim, at Rich Stadium in Buffalo from 11 yards out. Jim Kelly to Thurman Thomas in the end zone on 3rd and goal. It's a 20-13 lead for the Bills now early in the fourth quarter. Jim.
All right, thanks, Greg. Here, Detroit leading over Jacksonville 37-0. First down for the Jaguars. And that run by Vaughn Dunbar out to the 34-yard line. Go back to Dunbar, and a block from DeMarco, and runs for another first down up to the 45-yard line.
You know, it's interesting that they're staying with the game plan. You know, they got a rookie quarterback who's never played before. They're not coming in and throwing every down, which in this case, usually in this juncture in a football game, usually you're throwing all the time. It's nice to see Gilbride, the offensive coordinator there, saying, let's stick with our game plan. We're going to keep running the draws, the screens, and we're going to run some quick passes. You don't want to put you don't want to get them gun shy. You don't want to put them in a situation where the defensive line is teeing up and taking shots at them, because you want them to learn from this experience instead of just being cannon fodder.
Lachey Maston checks into the backfield now, replacing Dunbar. Johnson's first pass. They got a big wall set up for him. Gave him a nice pocket, and Desmond Howard catches it down to the 49 of Detroit. Mike Johnson on the coverage.
You know, actually, Jim, this is not a bad position for a young rookie quarterback to come in, because, I mean, he's got nothing to lose. There's no expectations. It's not like Jacksonville's going to be able to pull this ball game out. So you just get out there, relax. Nobody's expecting much from him. Just throw the ball and have some fun out there.
Washington beating St. Louis as you watch our scores go by. Important to the Lions to try and wrap up a playoff spot. Rob Johnson checking off at the line of scrimmage. If St. Louis lost today and Minnesota loses later today against San Francisco and the Lions hang on to this one, they're into the playoffs. Johnson's going to run. And he shows a nice move up near the first down marker and should have it near the 45 of the Lions.
Well, you know, this guy, Rob Johnson, has not had a lot of opportunities this season to work with the first offense. You know, he usually runs the scout team, and so this is a great opportunity for him. And very heady call there, checking out of a play. He saw something he didn't like, changed the play, and picks up very heady here, showing that not trying to force the ball into coverage and getting the first down.
Pretty good hit on him by Ryan McNeil as he ran it to the sideline. First down for the Jaguars. They're going to need a timeout. The play was a little slow in coming in, where Johnson understanding it, so they'll call a timeout. and straighten things out. Lions in the lead, 37-0. This is the NFL on NBC. Season. And Mark Brunell and Steve Berline over on the sideline with offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride. So they really believe that he will be Brunell's understudy, the number 2 man here in Jacksonville. Steve Berline told us yesterday that he believes he'll be going elsewhere at the end of this season. His contract will come to an end. He'll be a free agent, and he'll try to search for a team where he can be the starting quarterback. He thought it might be here, but it didn't work out that way.
Well, you know, he feels he's a starter, and there's going to be a lot of quarterback positions open next year.
Johnson getting out of the pocket, and Antonio London chases him from the behind and gets him at the 40-yard line. That was a nice move by Johnson to get out of that pocket. I wouldn't call those happy feet back there in the pocket, would you?
No.
He seems to be hanging in there.
He does a nice job, and what's more impressive is he does a great job of getting down before Spielman, number 54, gets a shot at him, because Chris is ready to take his head off. As you see, he's reading the play, sees him scrambling, and he's not going feet down. He's going to take his head off. And luckily, Johnson hit the ground before Spielman hit him.
Picked up 6 yards on that scramble. 2nd down 4. Johnson looking long from Marsh. Marsh had separated from Robert Massey down at the 10-yard line, but the pass is too far, incomplete.
You know, Chris Spielman is a coach's dream. I mean, here's a guy that shows up to work every morning at 6:30, about the same time the head coach shows up. He watches film. He's totally obsessed with football, watches extra film, knows what's going on. You know, this year, you know, he's a real throwback. He tore a pectoral muscle early in the season, had some bleeding, some hemorrhaging, lost a bunch of blood. Never missed a practice. Never, you know, he's out there playing one arm, never complained. People were dogging him a little bit. The media saying he's, you know, he's not what he once was. And here's a guy that's playing hurt, never complaining about just doing the job.
He gets the ball to Desmond Howard as they came on a blitz, and Johnson read it right, but Howard slipped and lost his footing as he came up to the ball and couldn't get the first down yardage and actually lost about a half yard. It's 4th down. Johnson ran over to the sideline, but there's 4 down territory. They're going to keep him out there, but they're going to run out of time here in the 3rd quarter. It's going to do it for 3 quarters of play here in the Silverdome. Detroit almost had the ball for 10 minutes of this 3rd quarter. And that is it. 37-0. The Lions in the lead. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. This is the NFL. And as we get set to start the 4th quarter, that's the way the Lions did it. Jumped out quickly, 10-0. 17 points in the 2nd quarter, and then 10 more, and just controlling the clock in the 3rd quarter. 9 minutes and 59 seconds worth of possession for Detroit. It's 4th down for Jacksonville as we come back. 4th and 5. And the rookie quarterback Rob Johnson steps up, throws for Marsh, incomplete. On the coverage was Ryan McNeil. And the ball on downs is turned over to the Lions.
Well, Detroit coming with a blitz. Their inside guys, Chris Spielman and Mike Johnson, blitzing the young quarterback, making him throw before he needed to.
Ron Johnson will go over, and now he's been baptized into regular season action.
Definitely baptized with fire.
We'll have the entire 4th quarter here. Barry Sanders is going to come out right now, and Ron Rivers checks into the lineup. Nice day of work.
Yeah, well, that's smart too. I mean, there's no need to keep him in the ball game. You don't want him to get hurt on a goofy play after the game's already been decided.
Scott Mitchell still in there. 1st down. Gets away from Fraze and throws, and Perriman catches and immediately is hit by Vinnie Clark. Travis Davis comes over too. So what kind of day did Barry Sanders have here today? Had a couple of touchdowns, a tremendous 2-yard touchdown run, 76 yards, and he's gone 3 weeks in a row now where he has not had a 100-yard rushing game. And the Lions felt maybe today he was really going to bust out and have a big one, because they say when he doesn't have, you know, the huge running day, look out the next week. And they'll settle for it next week in Tampa Bay for Sanders to run wild down there.
And actually, the way this offense is playing, he doesn't need to have 100 yards for them to be successful, as we're seeing here today.
Rivers eludes a tackle and should get the Lion 1st down as he ducked underneath the hit.
Jim, this is when you start thinking about pulling all your starters giving your backup guys a chance to play. Looking at Mitchell, I mean, I'd get him out of there too. He took a shot from Schmengi 2 plays ago, or the play before last. Nice job avoiding the tackle. And you want to get the young guys in, get the backups in there, get them some playing time, and now is a good time to rest your starters.
Look at that move by Perriman on Vinnie Clark, and finds the extra 4 or 5 yards to get the first down out at the 36.
But you know how competitive guys like Perriman and Moore are. They probably want to stay in there. Is that another game ball?
I think it is. Yeah, that's going to be 4 game balls. Yeah, we're just about out of balls, I think, Tunch. Mitchell, Perriman, and Moore. What a triumvirate there. As Mitchell will come out, they've had their days of work. Boy, they are just awesome here today. Back in the Silver Dove in Pontiac, 37-0. The Detroit Lions in the lead. Scott Mitchell's out. Don Majkowski is in, number 1. Rodney Holman's in at tight end. Ron Rivers is in at running back. With a flag going down at the 30-yard line.
Also number 76, Scott Conover comes in for Lomas Brown at left tackle. And it looks like Aubrey Matthews is in there too, number 83, for number 80, Perriman.
Check out the call, face mask, going against Jacksonville. We knew coming in they were close to a number of records, Moore and Perriman. They just broke the record for combined single-season yardage. And that's, I think earlier when you saw Mitchell waving Majkowski off to the sideline, he wanted to be the guy that was in there to break the record with them. I mean, he's been a part of it all season long.
Sure.
So that's why they delayed his exit from the game, so he could get them the ball and get them the yardage. And it's been a very, very big day, record-setting day for the Detroit offense. And the Detroit defense, as you can see by the shutout here today, has been doing a good job too.
And Dave Lutz coming out too with Tony Semple going in for him. Number 62 is now the right guard. So they got their JV in.
Rivers will run again inside the 20. Down near the 11. Harry Colin straightens him up and knocks him out of bounds.
Rivers runs a slant play to the left. And this is an interesting play as a River runs through it, with Rivers following Conover to the left, cuts it up.
You know, since you've gone to the writer,
sorry about that.
It's really improved some of your comments.
I'm just plagiarizing my buddy.
The ball is at the 11-yard line. It's another Detroit first down. Rivers to the middle. Inside the 10, down near the 7-yard line. Once again now, the Lions looking at their equation to get into the playoffs. They're winning today, which they needed to do. St. Louis is losing, which they needed to have happen. Minnesota hasn't started yet, but they're out in San Francisco. So the equation looks like that. The Rams are losing big now to the Redskins, who have stretched out that lead in that game. And Minnesota plays at San Francisco.
Is that Monday night?
So the Lions could be in at the end of the day if everything falls correctly, but the division wouldn't be wrapped up yet because Detroit's right in there with Green Bay battling for it. As Rivers runs inside the 5, Kelvin Pritchett wraps him up. Green Bay looked so good yesterday.
Absolutely.
Against New Orleans. Brett Favre had a big day, 4 touchdown passes in that game, but Detroit's answered that performance with a dominating performance today.
Sure. Absolutely. But what about playing in Lambeau Field in January?
Well, it didn't work well last year for the Lions in the playoff game, did it? Because they ended up playing against each other in the playoff game, and Detroit couldn't do anything. And that's the point, I think, that Joe Gibbs was making at halftime. Rivers to the outside, to the end zone. Touchdown, Lions. First touchdown for Rivers.
Rivers with a quick pitch to the right. Fowlen is blocking. Find the hole. Just cuts it right up behind Zephyr Moss, number 71. Giving him a pat on the back. You love it as an offensive tackle to just block your guy and watch the running back fall into the end zone for a touchdown.
First NFL touchdown, and yet another ball leaves the field.
Well, they're going to have to call up Wilson and have him send another box of balls because they're definitely running out.
Low snap. And Royals did a great job to get that ball up for Hansen to get it through. There's a flag down on the extra point.
As Mark Royals checking with the official.
He was like Ozzie Smith at shortstop on that snap back to him.
Offsides, defense, penalized 5 yards on a kickoff. Extra point is good.
Extra point is good on the kickoff. That penalty will be marked off. Ron Rivers is into the books, scoring an NFL touchdown. Back at the Silverdome, a lot still hanging around watching this Detroit Lions highlight film here today as they lead 44-0 over Jacksonville after Ron Rivers goes in for his first NFL touchdown. Wayne Fontes has all of his second teamers going in there, and I haven't seen him on headphones all day long. He's gonna jump in there and do a little coordinating now.
Well, he's asking upstairs who hasn't played yet. Let me get him into the game.
All right, on the run, it is Randy Jordan, and he brings it out. He'll be short of the 20, out over the 15-yard line.
Jimmy, I could kind of relate to these guys. It's like deja vu for me because I was here with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1983 and was part of that Thanksgiving Day massacre, which we lost to the Lions 45-3. Boy, you talk about an ugly, ugly, ugly game. That was the night that Carson came on and he said, boy, I had a rough day. I had the Steelers in 40 today, so. You know, when you're in a game like this, you're just thinking, watching the clock, and you go, just keep running. Whoever's working that clock, keep that darn thing running. So I know what it's like for these guys. So I guess now this is the worst whooping. So I am no longer in the record books, and I am pretty excited about no longer the part of the worst whooping ever to take place in the Pontiac Silverdome.
Merry Christmas, Tunch. Johnson throws down the field for Desmond Howard, and Van Malone intercepts the ball.
Well, the offensive guys are happy to get off the field now because they're going to go watch. Because this is such a bad whooping. You just want the game to end. You just want to get out of there before someone gets hurt.
Well, hang on. The Lions get the ball back when we return. Johnson getting playing time. He throws his first interception. Jacksonville has had 5 turnovers. The Lions, a clean sheet for them. Mikowski to Rivers. And Rivers runs it into Jaguar territory. Up to the 45-yard line. Tonight, right here on NBC, it starts with Lost Civilizations, The Mysteries of Egypt. That's followed by a special all-new holiday episodes, Mad About You and Hope and Gloria. Then it's Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo in the comedy hit National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's all tonight here on NBC.
That's one of my favorite all-time movies.
I love that movie. My goal is to always decorate my house for the holidays,
like
just
Chevy.
The way Clark Griswold did.
Just like Sparky.
That's right. That's what she called him in the movie.
That's right.
Sparky.
And I had the electrical overload too, you know.
Rivers is going to get a first down to the Jacksonville 40-yard line.
Jim, getting back to that faithful day in 1983 at the Thanksgiving Day massacre.
Yes, Sparky, take us to that story.
I'm struggling with this a little bit. No, but I know what these guys are thinking because I was thinking the same exact thing. It's the fourth quarter, you're down 44-0, and you look up at the clock. The worst thing is there's still 10 minutes left in the ball game. And of course, they had a number 20 in that year that was pretty good. It ran for about a gazillion yards that day. Billy Sims just ran all over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then they had insult to the injury. On the way to the airport, we get to the airport, our plane's got a dead battery. So we're stuck here in Detroit. I mean, it's not like you can jump a 727. Hopefully these guys will get out of here a little quicker.
Ball is inside the 40-yard line. Harry Colon. You know, in defense of the Jaguars, though, this hasn't happened often this year. I mean, they have been in every game that they've played. I mean, you would think a new team coming into the league would be a blowout every week, but not so. These guys have played everyone right down to the finish. And that's what the hard part of the whole season. They've played so hard. They only have 3 wins to show for it. Maybe next weekend against Cleveland in their finale, they'll be able to get their 4th win. Rivers away from Mayfield. Gee, Tunch, he makes you miss too.
Well, you know, you've got to be a pretty good back to sit behind Barry Sanders. You know, I'm sure Rivers could start for a lot of teams in this league. But it's, you know, Tom Coughlin really has his work cut out for him, because how do you know, after all the frustration of this season and it being a long year, you know, we said at the outset that these guys have been at it since mid-March, and they've lost a lot of close games. They've never quit. They've been in games, and they've lost some heartbreakers. Well, now it's the second to last game of the year, and they've actually absolutely snuck up the joint. How are they going to bounce back for 1 game left?
On 3rd down, Rivers to the secondary. And inside the Jacksonville 20 for a Lion 1st down at the 18-yard line, with Dave Thomas bringing him down.
But to a credit to the Jacksonville guys, they're still out there hustling. Nobody's quitting. You see guys still hustling, trying to make plays. Nice job by Rivers, making guys miss. Dave Thomas at the end there wraps them up and brings them down.
You know, I asked some of the Jacksonville players yesterday, do you think in Tom Coughlin's 2nd year maybe some of the rules will be lightened up on? And they said absolutely not. Coach Coughlin is the same as he always is, and he'll always be that way too. Mikowski's going to keep it, and he hits inside the 15-yard line down to the 14.
I know some of the players had voiced their disapproval to his coaching style and said, you got to lighten up a little. He said, hey, my door is always open. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to agree with you, but my door is always open.
Now, they had a well-publicized players-only meeting this week because there was some frustration. And Kelvin Pritchett said after the loss to the Colts last week, this is a dictatorship with this team. And so big things expected out of the meeting, which only lasted 3.5 minutes.
Well, I think some things were aired, and they got their point across, and it was over. I mean, usually it's not because of lack of effort. Usually you have those team meetings because you feel that as a team, you know, you guys aren't giving it all, guys aren't preparing. But let's face it, this team has been well prepared and has played hard all season long. They have not played like an expansion team. They have not played like a team that has only won 3 football games. They have been in it week in and week out.
Nice play by Goganius on that tackle of Rivers. And as you see the scores, that Buffalo game is tight, isn't it? Up in Buffalo, 23-20. Bills in the lead by a field goal. Washington's lead now over St. Louis down to 5. As the Lions can look up and do a little scoreboard watching for their playoff fate. Mikowski takes a knee on 3rd down and 12. And the crowd is booing.
I guess there just hasn't been enough offense for the Detroit fans. Come on, we need 50 points. What's the deal here?
Wayne Fontes got the edict, right, when they were 0-3 and then 3-6. Get into the playoffs or you're probably done. You are done, as a matter of fact, not probably. And yet, it seems as if that's the case every year with the Lions. And yet they turn it on. And it's, at least in the Fontes rule, and on 4th down they take a knee again. And so now the ball will go over to Jacksonville. How do you take this, Tunch? Do you take it as a nice tip? We'll come back and tip of the hat to Jacksonville not to run it up on them. We'll talk about that when we return to the Silverdome. Wayne Fontes has called off the Lions a little bit here in the late going on 4th down. Actually on 3rd and 4th down, he had Don Mikowski take a knee, not to get any more points. Run up against Jacksonville and give the Jaguars the ball, and Vaughn Dunbar, 30, 40, and out near midfield.
You know, Wayne's just one of those good guys. You know, you just love to talk to him. The Detroit media is so tough. You know, when they started out slow, they were all over him, calling for his resignation, calling for his firing, for his job. And the players here were saying that through it all, Wayne was just consistent. He was never any different. He was the same way every day. Came in, as you see here, years with current team. Shula leading with 25, and then Wayne Fonts has got 7, fourth most of current coaches.
And I think it's safe to say he'll have an 8th.
Absolutely.
Beyond that, Dunbar. Just when he was turning it to the outside, he got disrupted from behind and brought down as Shane Bonham knocked him off his feet.
But you know, Wayne would come in here on Monday morning after a loss and he'd say, listen, I don't care if you're a secretary, a ball boy, one of the management guys, from top to bottom, we've got to keep our heads up. And he did a great job of deflecting the criticism from his players onto himself. And he never got shook up. He never pointed the finger. He always says, it's on me. And the players really respect that, and they have responded.
2nd down and 8. At the Detroit 49, rookie quarterback Rob Johnson came in late stages of the 3rd quarter. And he runs it just short of a 1st down as he's to the 42-yard line. You would think that Fonts would be at odds with his owner, William Clay Ford. But not so at all. He has a great relationship with him, even though, you know, he did say if you don't make the playoffs, you're going to be gone. In fact, he talks to him every week. And it was walking on the field with him before the game. And they were having a good old time before the game, and they're having a great afternoon here today. The Lions leading 44-0, ready to get their 9th victory overall this season. Dunbar for the 1st down, and he gets it to the 38.
Well, yeah, and what Wayne's told the media and anybody that would listen is, hey, don't judge me now. There's still plenty of football left. You talk about me, and then you can judge my performance after week 16. And once again, late in the season, the Lions are making their push, as they do every year. And you'd think the local media would figure that out by now after 7 years of the same stuff and just give the guy a break and get on the bandwagon instead of trying to be divisive.
1st down for Jacksonville. Johnson throwing. Pretty good battle down there as Marsh and Massey were fighting for the ball, and the flag goes down out by the 5-yard line.
Well, there was some pushing and shoving going on as Rob Johnson just threw the ball up to give Marcia an opportunity to go get it. Definitely interference.
2 minutes to go in the ball game as we pick up the call.
Number 40 defense.
It is on Massey. It's going to be a 1st down for the Jaguars, and we'll see if they can break the shutout when we come back. Welcome back to the Silverdome. Fans thinking about possible Super Bowl and the Lions being in it. Boy, if they are, you'll see it right here on NBC. 1st and goal, ball inside the 10-yard line at the 8. Jacksonville trying to get their 1st points of the day. Rob Johnson. Oh, he ran out of time and got sacked. Stephen Boyd, the rookie from Boston College, got him. More football coming up next weekend, the final weekend of the regular season. Next Saturday, starting at a special time of 12 noon Eastern, Stan Humphries, Junior Seau, and the defending AFC champion San Diego Chargers take on the New York Giants. Remember, special starting time, 12 noon, all right here on NBC.
You know, that's got to be tough for a West Coast team to come out to the East Coast and play at 12 o'clock. It's like 9 o'clock on your internal clock. It's like you got to get up at 5 o'clock to get ready for the pregame meal.
Rob Johnson calls a timeout. Stan Humphries and Junior Seau have a pretty big ball game coming up here today against the Indianapolis Colts before they get to the Meadowlands and take on the Giants. Rob Johnson was looking and looking, and I think Kevin Gilbride's telling him there, you know, if it's not there, maybe you can always throw it right up into the seats and throw it away rather than taking the sack.
You know, as a young quarterback, you come in there and things are going so quick and you haven't had an opportunity to play, you're sometimes guilty of paralysis by analysis.
There's a pretty good quarterback right there, Stan Humphries. Junior Seau, the San Diego Chargers next Saturday here on NBC. Can they make it to the playoffs? Well, there's a guy that stands in their way, Dan Reeves, and the New York Giants. Dave Brown, the quarterback of the Giants, trying to come up with one more win in what has been a troubled season for them. That's next Saturday here on NBC. Ball will be at the 20-yard line. Look at that sack, Tunch. He took them from inside his own 10 And with the sack by Boyd, it's 2nd and goal, but now back at the 20-yard line. We are at 1:31 remaining. Johnson for Marsh in the end zone, up on Marsh's shoulder pads, and he couldn't come down with it. Battling him all the way was Sean Van Horst, the defensive back in there.
You know, you have to give the Jags credit for their offensive line, because in a game like this, 44-0, it can get very ugly, but they're doing a real nice job of protecting the quarterback even at this late juncture, because usually when you get down and that defensive line's just got their ears pinned back and they're coming and it's loud in here, you can't hear the count, it can get very ugly for a quarterback and for an offensive line. This offensive line has improved every week this year, and they are so much better than they were at the beginning of the season, and these guys were dominated by Detroit in preseason, and they've made a nice showing for themselves today.
Big blitz. Johnson throws a screen up the middle. Lachey Maston at the 5 and gets down near the goal line. They will not give it to him.
Yeah, that was the middle screen that Kevin Gilbride was talking to us about last night. He says, we're going to throw that middle screen at him, and what you do there is you got to be a good actor as an offensive lineman. You got to kind of let it seem like, oh, I'm blocking my guy. Ah, I just missed him. And then you just bleed out. As you watch their 3 internal guys, they block their guys, and they get out front to make the play. And Johnson just drops it in over the rusher's head, right into Lachey Maston. God, it was close to a touchdown. I hope they get it in.
Inside the 1, Maston will come out. And now those who are left here in the Silverdome are pleading with the Detroit defense to get a shutout. Timeout as the play clock was running out, so they use a timeout as they really want to punch this one in and avoid the shutout with 38 seconds left.
Well, if they score here, then the Pittsburgh Steelers still have the record.
Okay, on this, as we get close to Christmas, why not sit back and watch a little golf? That's what's coming up next. The Lexus Challenge, hosted by Raymond Floyd, Clint Eastwood, our own Brian Gumbel, Dr. J, who's playing well, and others pair up with golf's biggest names like Nicholas Palmer and Raymond Floyd in the game's newest event. Going into the final round, George Archer and Glenn Fry and Hale Irwin and Dr. J tied for the lead at 10 under. So the Lexus Challenge is coming up next.
Boy, it's got to be intimidating playing golf with guys like Nicholas. I mean, if I played golf, it would be intimidating for me. And this crowd comes alive. All 8,000 that are left.
The Lions defense, second team getting in there, getting a chance with a playoff type of intensity right now to try and shut down the Jaguars. Inside the 1, 4th and goal. Maston and Jordan are in the backfield. They're going to go wide to Jordan. He's not going to get there. Corshey is the first man in on the tackle. Kowalkowski comes in to help out, but 91, Corshey got the...
Saying goodbye to him. Look at him spitting at him. They might find him for spitting.
Yes, sir, Charlie. Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. This is the play-by-play headset. There's the beautiful white horse on the